Imagine two people standing in front of you. The first person speaks clearly, maintains eye contact, and answers every question without hesitation. The second person pauses before responding, carefully considers the evidence, and occasionally admits uncertainty. Who would you trust more? Most people instinctively choose the first person, but here's the surprising part. The first person isn't necessarily more knowledgeable. In fact, the second person may be the real expert. So why does confidence often win? The answer lies deep within human psychology, and understanding it can completely change the way you evaluate information. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors didn't have access to scientific journals, online databases, or fact-checking websites. Making quick decisions was essential for survival. When danger appeared, there wasn't always time to analyze every possibility. People often followed individuals who appeared decisive and certain. From an evolutionary perspective, confidence became a shortcut. Our brains learned to associate certainty with competence. Even today, that ancient mental shortcut still influences us. When someone speaks with confidence, our brains often assume they know what they're talking about. The problem is that confidence and knowledge are not the same thing. Psychologists call this a heuristic. A heuristic is a mental shortcut that helps us make decisions quickly. Most of the time, these shortcuts are useful, but they can also lead us astray. When evaluating information, confidence is one of the strongest shortcuts our brains use. Imagine you're choosing between two tour guides. One guide says, "I think this route should be safe, but there are a few variables we should consider." The other says, "This is definitely the best route. Follow me." Like, many people would choose the second guide, not because the information is better, but because certainty feels reassuring. Confidence reduces uncertainty, and humans naturally dislike uncertainty. This preference is connected to something known as the authority bias. Authority bias occurs when people place greater trust in individuals who appear powerful, knowledgeable, or authoritative. Interestingly, appearance often matters as much as actual expertise. A confident voice, strong posture, direct eye contact, clear communication, these signals create the impression of authority. And once that impression forms, people become more likely to accept what is being said, even when the evidence is weak. There's another fascinating psychological effect at work. It's called the halo effect. The halo effect occurs when one positive characteristic influences our perception of someone's other qualities. For example, if someone appears confident, we may also assume they are intelligent, competent, experienced, trustworthy, but those qualities don't automatically come together. A person can be extremely confident and completely wrong. History provides countless examples of this. Many financial crashes, failed predictions, and poor decisions were led by individuals who sounded absolutely certain. Their confidence persuaded others. Their expertise did not match their certainty. Ironically, real experts often appear less confident. This may sound strange, but the more someone learns about a subject, the more they become aware of its complexity. They understand exceptions, limitations, uncertainties, unknown variables. As a result, experts frequently use phrases like, "It depends." "The evidence suggests," "We're not completely certain." To some listeners, these responses sound weak, but in reality, they reflect intellectual honesty. The expert understands that knowledge has limits. The non-expert may not even realize how much they don't know. This phenomenon is closely related to a famous psychological concept known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect describes how people with limited knowledge often overestimate their abilities. Because they lack expertise, they also lack the ability to recognize their mistakes. Meanwhile, highly skilled individuals often underestimate themselves because they understand the challenges involved. In simple terms, the less someone knows, the easier it can be for them to feel certain. The more someone knows, the more aware they become of uncertainty. This creates an interesting paradox. The people who sound most confident aren't always the most knowledgeable, and the people who sound cautious aren't always less competent. Modern media amplifies this effect. Social media rewards certainty. Bold claims spread faster than nuanced explanations. Simple answers attract more attention than complex discussions. As a result, confident personalities often gain larger audiences. People naturally gravitate toward individuals who appear certain about the future, who offer clear answers, who eliminate doubt. But reality is rarely that simple. Most important questions involve complexity, and complexity rarely fits into a short headline. So how can you avoid being misled by confidence? Start by separating confidence from evidence. Instead of asking, how confident does this person sound? Ask, what evidence supports this claim? Look for facts, data, reliable sources, track records. Notice whether someone can explain their reasoning. Pay attention to whether they acknowledge uncertainty when appropriate. Real expertise isn't about pretending to know everything. It's about understanding what is known and what remains uncertain. The next time you hear someone speak with absolute certainty, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, are they confident because they understand the topic, or are they confident because they don't fully understand its complexity? The difference matters, because confidence can be persuasive, but evidence is what makes information trustworthy. And in a world filled with opinions, learning to recognize that distinction may be one of the most valuable skills you can develop. If you enjoyed this psychology breakdown, subscribe for more videos on human behavior, decision-making, and the hidden forces shaping our everyday lives. Which do you trust more, confidence or evidence? Let us know in the comments.